Hey everybody, welcome to the live event. We are doing Q&A with me. I love doing this stuff because it helps me figure out what my mom community really likes and what you guys really need help with. So I've got a couple questions that were sent in online, and I have one question that's already been put in the text box. So if you come on and you have a question, please put it in the text box and I can answer it as we go through. So if I'm looking at you or looking somewhere else, that's what I am doing right now. So my first question that I got online was, how can you know that like only 10 to 20 minutes of exercise is actually giving me any benefit? Well, believe it or not, there is a ton of research on this that you can look up yourself, or I'm going to actually start to put this in some of my context, because I think as busy moms, I know this was really hard for me when I went from being a personal trainer and a Pilates instructor, and like everything you do in the personal training and Pilates world is 45 minutes to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. So like in my brain, that was what was ingrained into me. I'm like, I'm not going to get any benefit. There's nothing I'm going to get out of this unless it's 45 minutes to an hour. Well, that just isn't true. Even 10 to 20 minutes can do stuff like boost your heart health. It can lower blood pressure. It improves circulation. Exercise can really help with boost endorphins. So for moms, it's especially important because those endorphins are going to help with our mood. It's going to help lower anxiety, and it's going to help with our stress. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you'll see that I talk about that a lot. Exercise personally for me really helps ground me as a mom. It helps me feel, one, a lot stronger just physically, but really emotionally and mentally is where I use the exercise a lot too. I ask my husband that all the time. I'm like, I'm going to interview you, for one of my reels one time, and he's going to tell everybody, like, listen, like, my wife when she exercises and my wife when she doesn't exercise are like two totally different people. So it is not really about the duration, but about consistency that like really, really matters. And I'm going to keep talking about that and touching on that a little bit as I get through some more of these points. So HIIT, for example, which is part of my online program, it's 10 minutes long. I call them my 10 hards because it's typically 5 exercises that you do hard for around 1 minute each, which equals about 10 minutes. Sometimes it's 40 seconds. It just depends on your activity level and your fitness level. You could do it for 30 seconds. You could do it for 45. You could do it for 50, depending on your fitness level. But you do 10 of them, 10 hard. It's about 10 minutes long. HIIT sessions are incredibly important for women as we get older. It is super good for your metabolism, your metabolic health, and for aiding in fat loss. And you get a lot of bang for your buck in a very short amount of time. So if you could, for example, consistently do 3 HIIT sessions a week versus just one 45-minute to an hour session a week at the gym, you're going to get more benefit out of doing those 3 smaller sessions than you are the one long session. Exercise also, even those short durations, 10 to 20 minutes, can sharpen focus. It can help reduce fatigue for hours, actually. So mom life, we wake up, we're super tired, we're drained, we need a little bit of energy. Get on the floor, jumping jacks, something, just move your body for 5 to 10 minutes, and it's going to help boost your energy for a couple hours, which is just amazing. Now, that being said, I do really want to encourage moms, like if you are in the thick of it right now, like if you're like in the middle of toddlerhood and tons of babies and you are super sleep deprived, that sleep is essentially more important than doing a ton of exercise at this point of your life. Okay, so I would make sure that the exercise that you are doing is gentle. So walking is like your best friend right now, your best friend. When you're tired, when you're coming off being sick, when you're dealing with the fix of being like early motherhood, walking and stretching on the floor, just easy movement, mobility, something like that is just the best thing that you can do, really. So just remember that the 5 to 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes, anything in there, there is so much research out there about how good it is for your body. We've got to wrap our minds around the fact that shorter amount consistently over time is way more important than doing short or longer duration only a couple times a week. Now, that being said, if that's all you can get in, please do that, because everything is going to be important. All right, so like I said, my key point with all of these is consistency is more important than duration. So short, sustainable is great for busy moms, okay? So I'm gonna go head on to my next question here in my chat box. Oh, it looks like she wasn't able to put it in. That's okay. So we kind of talked about this earlier, so I kind of had an idea of what she wanted to ask me. So my mom that's on here right now, she is very much postpartum. Okay, so she was like, how do I know when I can go from the easier exercises to the harder exercises? I would highly suggest getting onto Google or YouTube and looking up how to test yourself for diastasis. Okay, so it's very simple and easy to do. You just lay down on your back, you lift your head up off the floor, and you see without contracting your abdominals, so you don't use your abs to lift, you just pick your head up off the floor, and you see how much space is in between your diastasis recti. So diastasis recti means your diastasis muscles, which run down here, they separate when you're pregnant to allow for the belly to come out. Well, too much separation starts to cause a little bit of problems here, okay? So you can, if you don't fix that separation, which just takes time, and some really good breathing exercises along with exercise or some core work, it can start to affect other things. You can start to get lower back pain out of it. You can start to get neck pain out of it because that core is not functioning properly. So first you want to test your diastasis. So you lay down on the floor and it's a finger test. So you see how many fingers space you have at that separation. I would say anything under 2 fingers, like 1.5 to 2 fingers, you can start to do some things safely. The key with doing diastasis, with healing diastasis, is breath. You can do all of the exercises in the world and all of the core exercises in the world and all the postpartum exercises in the world that you can come across. But if you're not breathing properly, then you're never gonna heal that diastasis the way that you like to, and you're just gonna cause more problems down the road. Leaking, back pain, all of those things. You could also, potentially I would think that you might be able to get like, hernias and stuff like that too. So breath work is incredibly important. If you need help with that, there's like a whole other subject. Please let me know and I can refer you to some really great resources. But if you've watched any of my videos, you notice that I do talk about that breath work a little bit. I talk about breathing low into the belly and then exhaling hard like you're trying to blow out a balloon or blow out a candle. So you're expanding and contracting. It's an in and up. You don't want to be just jamming your belly button straight back into your spine. You want to feel like this whole area is coming in and lifting up all at the same time. So if you need help with that, if I can refer you to more sources for that, just please let me know. But that's kind of how you got to check yourself and then just be patient with yourself. Give yourself time. Let's say you're like wanting to try something that you haven't for a while. And let's say you're supposed to do 10 to 15 of them. Maybe you try 5 for a week. And then maybe you do 10 the next week and just see how you do. Are you sore? Is that hurt your back after you do it? So it's different from person to person, but hopefully that helps you kind of figure out how to like gauge when you're ready for that next step. All right. So another question from online is, she says, how do I stress less with meal prep? I either buy too much, which goes bad, or I buy too little, and then I end up going through the drive-thru. Like, how do I go about this meal prepping? There are a lot of people that don't do well with meal prepping, and that is totally fine. So we just have to find something that works well for you. Okay, so my suggestion is to buy in bulk stuff like frozen vegetables. Okay, so broccoli, green beans, mixed vegetables, all of those. One, you can steam them, which doesn't take hardly any time at all. Peas, Or you can cook them from frozen. You roast them in the oven, which is super, super easy. I have a ton of reels about that, but if you need to know how, let me know and I can tag you in them. So that would be my suggestion, is getting stuff that is not fresh, but is fresh. So the frozen vegetables are a great idea. You can grab them out of your freezer while you're prepping your meat. You can just steam them, roast them, whatever that looks like. You can also freeze leftovers. So I'm a big soup, stew, roast, that type of person. And usually what I do is I try to make a big batch of whatever it is that I'm making. And then I take at least 2 servings of that and I put it in the freezer. And that way you can just grab them and get them ready when you need them. So let's say it's a Monday, your Tuesday is going to be really busy. You grab one of those out of the freezer, you just put it in your fridge. It's mostly defrosted by the time dinner time comes around. You spend 15 minutes heating it up and then you're ready to go. Another thing that I do is I get things that don't go bad as easily. So I used to be a really big spinach person, but I've come to love romaine more because it lasts a whole lot longer than spinach. So what I do with spinach is I save that for when I make my smoothies, or I save it for when I'm making soups or stews or sautés, and that's when I throw it in there, and I just use it from frozen. I don't buy frozen spinach. I don't like the texture, the consistency of it. It's like wilted and weird. So what I do is I buy fresh spinach, I put it in a plastic bag with a paper towel, suck the air out of it, and I freeze it like that. And that way it's just the consistency and the freshness of it is a little bit better. So I use my spinaches for stuff like soups, stews, and smoothies. And then I use my romaine when I cook vegetables. So I buy one of those, or cook vegetables, eat like salads and stuff like that. So I buy a 3-pack of romaine. I chop it up all at once. I put it in a big bowl in the refrigerator, and it lasts for, it can last for anywhere from 7 to 10 days, honestly, depending how fast you're eating it too. So stuff like cucumber, carrots, peppers, those all last longer in the fridge, even cut up. So like prep them all at once. If you cut up 3 peppers, a bunch of carrots, celery if you like celery. I actually really like celery, but I don't really tend to eat nut butters that much. So celery is a great option if you're eating nut butters. You can just grab celery, nut butter, throw those 2 together, super easy to go. So I think people tend to think, I'll tell you right now, if you have my meal prep, my free meal prep guide for busy moms, there's like no recipes in there. It's basically roast your vegetables, make a carb if you want a carb, and make your meat. That's basically what it is. And that's basically how I eat at home too. So I feel like if people are meal prepping with recipes all the time, it gets very daunting and very overwhelming. I would say what I do cook with recipes would be stuff like my protein pancakes, my zucchini bread bake, my protein zucchini bread, breakfast bake. It is super easy to put stuff like yogurt, overnight oats, chia seed pudding, all of those, make all of those like 5 to 6 servings at once and just have them ready for the week. You can also hard-boiled eggs. So you could do 12 eggs and you've got 6 days worth of eggs right there. And then you can mix and match a lot of these things too. So you could take eggs, peppers, cucumbers, put it all together in one bowl, sprinkle a little bit of, the everyday bagel seasoning on it, maybe a splash of olive oil, and then you're ready to go. Yesterday and the day before, what I did for lunch was I had some chicken. So chicken, roast a bunch of chicken at once. When it's done, cut it all up, put it in the fridge. You've got chicken for at least 5 days. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a recipe. It doesn't have to be something super daunting that takes a lot of ingredients too. That's another one of my pet peeves about recipes, is they tend to like ask for ingredients that like maybe you don't use very much, and then you're stuck with this ingredient, and then what are you supposed to do with it, right? So you can make it more simple. I'm not a huge deli meat person, kind of like freaks me out just a little bit, but there are some good brands out there, and there's some good quality ones out there too. So you're not just eating like processed meat that's just gross. Costco has a great organic turkey that I absolutely love. It's sliced, It's not weird. It's not slimy. It tastes good. It comes in a 3-pack, and it's seriously the same price as buying 1 pack at a regular grocery store. I only like one brand of roast beef, and that if you live in the South, it's the Publix brand, and it's the Greenwise roast beef. It has no weird ingredients, no artificial anything. It has no gums added to it. It's basically roast beef and some seasonings. That's it. I love that. Snacking cheeses are also great. So stuff like the Fontina, which you guys have seen me, I love it. It's like in little, it's kind of like the Baby Bells. It's in these little octagon things like this, not a circle, but an octagon. I think that's what it's called. And you just peel the cover off and eat it. If you can't do dairy cheeses, you can always go with a goat cheese. Okay, so I've definitely been known to grab some of my roast beef, grab a hunk of goat cheese, grab a handful of peppers, and that's my lunch. Or dinner, whichever one works, right? So it doesn't have to be complicated. I feel like we make it more complicated than it needs to be. So just stick with something simple, like what are the proteins that you like? Make a big batch of those. So you can roast 2 pounds of chicken while you cook 2 pounds of ground beef into hamburgers, and then you have a bunch of meat for the week. And at the same time, you can hard boil some eggs. You've got the hamburgers here, or maybe you can throw them on the grill, which is even better. And then you can hard boil some eggs. Tastes better. There's some people like grilling, some people don't. I say whatever, just do what you like to do. And then you've got your chicken. Okay, so season that chicken really good with whatever seasoning that you like. Is it lemon pepper? I'm a huge fan of Salt Sisters. If you've never had any of the seasoning from Salt Sisters, I highly suggest it. They're phenomenal. Sprinkle some Salt Sisters on there, or just salt and pepper, and then you can mix and match maybe like some Caesar dressing on it, or some ranch, or some balsamic, or some honey mustard. I'm a Primal Kitchen girl. You guys know that. It's the only salad dressing that I eat is Primal Kitchen. Even I'm in South Dakota right now, and I even traveled here with my balsamic from Primal Kitchen. So once again, let me kind of rewind a little bit. Back to your basics and make it easy on yourself. Stick with frozen things. Stick with easy grab and go things. Stop worrying about recipes so much and freeze things. Make a big batch of pancakes, keep half out, freeze the other half. Okay, you just want to put parchment paper in between them so you can just grab them off easily and they're not sticking to each other. Same thing with my breakfast bake. Before I left, I double batched it, and I cooked it in one of those Pyrexes that was this big. And I made it, I purposely did this, so I have 2 left over for when I get home. Okay, so when I get home, so I don't have to worry about cooking immediately, I have 2 of my zucchini protein breakfast bakes ready to go. I keep frozen blueberries in my freezer. I get fresh ones for my kids. Rarely do I eat them. Usually I'm throwing the frozen blueberries on my yogurt. So hopefully that helped with you guys. If you are ever part of any of my groups, I also, or if you're staying on this app, you can go into the community and the recipe part, the Nutrition for Busy Moms. I have a protein bar recipe up there too that is just unbelievable. It's kind of like a midday square if you've ever had one of those before, but you get way more protein within each square depending on what type of protein powder that you use. Speaking of protein powders, and I'll go into this a little bit later, the Equip Prime is my favorite. And it's minimal ingredients. It's hands down the best one that I've come across, and I've tried a lot of them. So, all right, let me get back to this. So next question is, how do I plan a workout schedule? How do I know what to do? Okay, so once again, if you're on the app, if you go to your community and you go to the Smart Fitness routine, I teach you exactly how to do this. If you have 1 day a week, what should you do? If you have 2 days a week, what should you do? If you have 3 days a week, what should you do? And I break it down for you just like that. Now, I will say, I'm a huge fan of total body personally, because I just feel like I'm getting more done. But if you want to split it up, so like upper body, lower body, and then hit on 1 day, that is great. And that's actually how I teach you how to do it in this Smart Fitness routine. It all depends on the weights that you're lifting. If you're at home and you don't have access to super heavy weights and you're not getting really sore, you definitely can do more total body more often, but I just wouldn't do it back-to-back days. Okay, so if you're doing a HIIT session where it is total body, but you're not using any weights, you can definitely do a total body weighted session the next day. But if you're doing a total body weighted session, I would not do a total body weighted session the next day. I would hit the area of the body that you didn't do as much. Okay, so like if you focused on your back body, like you did deadlifts and bridging and bent over row and reverse fly the day before to get your total body, well then maybe the next day we work on the core and we work on chest. So hopefully that makes sense. That's what I have those smart fitness goals to teach you guys how to use my videos. Like, so it takes all the guesswork out of it. A lot of times what we do is we get onto something like YouTube and we're like, spend 5-10 minutes just searching for a workout to do because we don't know what to do. That's the beauty of this app, is you can just get on and know, okay, I had 3 days this week, so I know today is upper body and a HIIT session. Okay, so it tells you how to build those together. If you're going to the gym and you're trying to lift heavy, which I think is phenomenal and I think you should do, definitely try to split up those days more. So like concentrate upper body one day, lower body, and then maybe upper body and then a total body together if you're getting in there 3 days. But if you're just at home and like the heaviest weight you have is a 10, let's mix it up a little bit more total body, but let's get some HIIT in there so you still feel like you're doing a lot, but we're not lifting the weight as often. All right, so please go look at that. I'm thinking about using this as kind of like a giveaway soon. But you guys have access to it on the app right now. So please go look at that because I go in depth on all of these things in those smart fitness goals. All right, so next question. For someone with blood sugar issues, how do I manage them? But in someone that doesn't have diabetes. All right, biggest thing for blood sugar, biggest thing for aging women, biggest thing for moms is you have got to eat breakfast. Like, you have this whole intermittent fasting thing that has come along. I think it is a great tool to have in the toolbox, but I do not think it's something that people should be doing every single day at all. That protein in the morning is super important for managing blood sugar, your insulin levels, and your cortisol levels. And if any of those start to get thrown off, you are going to have issues during the day with the cortisol levels because it's going to make you more anxious. It's going to make you more stressed. It's going to lead to you snacking and binging on things more. So first thing in the morning, you have got to eat breakfast. If eating something physically is hard for you to do, which that is common for a lot of people, drink a protein coffee. Okay, so take a really good high quality protein like the Equip, put it in your coffee, mix it with a frother, blend it in a blender, whichever one that you need to do, throw a little cream in there, whatever it is that you need to do, and drink your protein. You will get over 20 grams of protein by just doing that. I would love for you to aim for 30 to 40 grams of protein, but that doesn't have to be at once. Okay, so you've got a little bit of wiggle room in there. So let's say you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. By 6:30 or 7, you have your protein coffee. You go to work by 8 or 8:30, you have a couple eggs and a couple pieces of chicken sausage. You are over 40 grams. That is very much ideal for you. I'm going to talk about this again later with another question, but I just want to say right now that protein is your friend if you're dealing with any sort of blood sugar issues. You need to make sure you are aiming for at least 30 grams every time you eat. That is going to help control that those blood sugar roller coasters, the crashing and the cortisol levels, which is making you want to snack on something sugary because you've been eating carbs all day and not enough protein. So eat your breakfast. Protein is key. You'll notice that a lot of these things mix together as we go along. All right, so another question. I have great intentions to add healthy habits, but at the end of the day, I feel like I'm a failure and I end up giving them up because it's chaos from kids pretty much. So what are the most important ones do you feel that I should add in? And the easiest ones. First of all, wake up before your kids. Even if it's 15 minutes, wake up before your kids. Get your coffee, read a book, wash your face, put your makeup on, whatever that looks like. Get up before your kids. Stop getting up with your kids or after your kids. I cannot stress this enough. It is like one of the best habits that I built into my life that has made a huge change with how I feel, with my energy and my mood throughout the day. Wake up before your kids. You don't have to do anything different there. Just wake up before your kids. All right, another one, eat breakfast. Hey, we just talked about this, and make sure you have protein for your breakfast, okay? It doesn't have to be huge, but let's try within the first couple hours of getting up, getting about 30 or 4 grams of protein. That doesn't have to be all at once, but it's ideal, okay? So make your protein coffee, couple eggs, couple pieces of chicken sausage. Or like me personally, what I do, I get up, I do my thing, I do a face routine. I don't get Botox or fillers or anything like that. Hey, listen, if you want to do that, that's great. It's just personal opinion, so I don't. I do face yoga. I do face massage, lymphatic drainage on my face 5 to 10 minutes every morning. I wash my face. I put my makeup on. I get dressed. I go to the kitchen and I get my kids' breakfast ready. I get my coffee ready, and I make myself a yogurt with frozen blueberries. So I do my Greek yogurt, nothing is in it, just plain non-fat Greek yogurt. I put a scoop of my protein powder in there. I put my frozen blueberries on there. I take care of my kids while the blueberries defrost a little bit, and then I have my breakfast ready to go. Okay, so I'm eating within the first hour of me getting up, and I'm getting, I think it's 37 grams of protein, I think is what that combination is right there. Oh, I also put psyllium husk in mine, which is what adds the more fiber to it. All the blueberries have a lot of fiber, but you can always add flaxseed or chia seeds or hemp seeds or anything like that too. All right, so another thing is stop eating your kids' leftovers, okay? Just leave it on the plate. Either put it back in the fridge or throw it away. You do not need your kids' leftovers, okay? When you are bringing snacks with you, make sure that you have a beef stick to eat, or you have a protein bar to eat, and that you're not eating the gummy bears, the cheese sticks, the crackers, all of that stuff, okay? So just a little bit of preparation, but that doesn't take time, okay? So just go to Costco, buy a big thing of beef sticks, keep it in your car so you have them ready to go. Another big thing, take magnesium glycinate at night. This is going to help with your stress. This is going to help with your sleep. It's going to help with your mood. It's going to help with recovery. It is simple and it is not expensive at all. I am more than happy to give you a link to the brand that I personally use that makes a big difference in my sleep, my stress, and my mood and my recovery. Okay, so magnesium at night. When you brush your teeth, take your magnesium. Brush your teeth, take your magnesium. It's as simple as that. Some other things that you can add in, those are my top ones right there, but some other things that you can start to add in is maybe try walking with your kids after you eat dinner, or putting a dance song on and dancing with them after dinner. One, it's quality time with your kids. Two, it gets you moving right after you eat, which is going to also help with your blood sugar control, and it gets more steps in and movement throughout the day. And it's a great bonding time with you and the kids. Another thing that you can do is play the cleanup song with your kids and teach them. This is very valuable. This is what I do. I've been doing this with my kids since they were 2 years old. One of them's 5, one of them's 7 now, one of them's 5, and one of them's 2, and they all do it. I put the cleanup song on and they clean up everything in the house. Like, we never go to bed with a dirty, messy. Sometimes it's dirty, but it's not messy. A messy house. It's fun because the cleanup song is on and they've got something like a time clock to go against, and it's good for you because that gives you time to teach them something valuable about how to clean up, and it also gives you time to clean some stuff up so you don't have to do all of it after they go to bed, so you can also have some me time. Okay, so that's another great one. You can mix those two together if you like, but that's something great. So, and another thing, if you can add this in 3 days a week, just do something. Okay, 3 days a week, do something. If that's 10 minutes, or if that's some exercise snacking. So maybe for 5 hours out of the day, you pick those 5 hours. On the hour, you get up and you do 2 minutes of movement. 2 minutes of movement, 2 minutes of movement on the hour. So at 10 o'clock, I'm going to move for 2 minutes. At 11 o'clock, I'm going to move for 2 minutes. At 12 o'clock, I move for 2 minutes. 1 o'clock, 2 minutes. 2 o'clock, 2 minutes, and that's it. Try that 3 days a week. Start small and then just start to add up. These are just very simple habits that you can do. Set an alarm on your phone so you know to do it. All right. So here's another question that goes along with something I was talking about earlier. This person says, I still do intermittent fasting and I only eat between 12 and 6 o'clock every day. I am still not losing weight. I have started drinking a purchased protein drinks for supper. What do you think is a good idea? First of all, I'm going to say this again. I am not a fan of fasting at all. Like, not at all. Especially as we get older. And I know for a fact that this woman is 65 and above. Okay. So we are going to say right now, I would tell her that I'm going to go to the narrative of we've got to stop thinking about saying losing weight. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I want a better body composition is what we want to think about, because anybody can lose weight, and what you're losing is fat and most likely a lot of muscle, which is not good. That muscle is your guarantee to live longer. It's your guarantee to be healthier. It's your guarantee to have a strong body. Okay, so you need muscle. If you're in too much of a calorie deficit, which is really what that intermittent fasting is forcing you into a calorie deficit, you're most likely in too much of a calorie deficit. And not only are you not losing weight, but you actually might start gaining weight because your body thinks that it's starving. Okay, so for this woman right here, I would tell her, I want you to start adding in a breakfast. Maybe not right when she gets up, because that might shock her body just a little bit. So let's say, I'm just guessing, let's say she wakes up at 7. I would tell her at 10 o'clock, I want you to start adding in 2 eggs, 2 pieces of chicken sausage, something. Like, you've got to throw some protein on your body immediately. And then do that for a week or so, and then scooch that time up a little bit. Do that for a week or so, scooch that time up a little bit. Okay. So then hopefully by 8 o'clock in the morning, in a couple weeks, she's eating 30 grams of protein to 40 grams of protein, whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to be something huge. It could be the protein coffee, right? She could do 1.5 scoops of protein in her coffee, not even feel like she's eating anything, but she is signaling to her body that it is safe, that it can build muscle, and that she has fuel. Okay, another thing that she could do is take essential amino acids, which is a 1 serving essential amino acids is 15 grams of real protein, like you're eating 15 grams of chicken or steak or beef or whatever you want to say. Okay, so she could take the protein coffee, the essential amino acids, take those together at 8 o'clock in the morning, then not change anything the rest of her day. She's got her 12 o'clock that she eats, her 6 o'clock that she eats. Okay, so I'm not a fan of the intermittent fasting at all. It usually makes, yeah, people can lose weight doing it, but most likely they're losing muscle while they're doing it. So I think it can be a great tool for people if they're doing some gut healing. So if they want to add in maybe 2 days a week that they do some intermittent fasting, or maybe 1 day a month that they do, 1 day a month that they do a 24-hour fast or something like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We should be naturally fasting through the night anyways. Okay, so if you're eating by 7 o'clock at night and then you're not eating till 7 or 8 o'clock the next morning, that is a natural 12 to 13 hour fast right there. You don't need to do any more than that, really. Now, if you're noticing that your eating windows are small, okay, so let's say you are snacking at 11 o'clock at night and then eating at 11 o'clock again in the morning, that's the person I would say, listen, we need to do something about this 11 o'clock at night thing, okay? Let's try to scooch this back a little bit, or let's find something else, like maybe we do some tea with honey, or we do a nighttime jello, so you feel like you're eating something, but it's not going to hit your system so hard. So, yeah, let me make sure I answered everything that she asked here. Yeah, I would really say that the 3 square meals is super important, especially for women, especially as we get older. There's so much more research about this now, especially with perimenopause and menopause and stuff like that. Protein, and that protein early on in the day is very, very important. Like I said, it keeps your cortisol in check. It helps stabilize your blood sugar. It helps stabilize your insulin. It helps with fatigue. And a lot of these, if you start to get them unbalanced, are going to lead to a nervous system problems. Okay, so that means that your body, instead of being in fight or flight, it's just or rest and digest, it's always in fight or flight, always in fight or flight, always in fight. That's when you become a really reactive parent, a really like you feel like your fuse is hit really quickly. You're just throwing things at you, getting mad really easily, and you get frustrated really easy and stuff like that, which is easy to do as a parent, so that's why nourishing your body and exercising and eating well really do make a difference of how you can show up for your family. All right, so I talked about the protein. So I want to talk about a protein here that this woman said that she's eating or drinking. It's a very popular one that people get. I'm not a fan of it. So it's the Premier Protein. It's the ready to go ones that are in the grocery stores. So I looked up the ingredients just so I could really talk about. So I'm going to look at the ingredients here. So one, it's made out of whey protein concentrate, which is actually pretty hard for people to digest. A lot of times when people say, hey, I don't do well with whey, it upsets my stomach. It's probably a whey protein concentrate. And the reason why this upsets your stomach is all those things that dairy is made out of that can upset people's stomach, the casein, the lactose, the proteins that are in it, they are literally in a concentrated form, which means, like, let's say a protein drink is 10% lactose, it's like 70% lactose. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but just to give you an idea of why all of those aspects of dairy that can like upset people's stomach are concentrated in a whey protein concentrate. So you want to make sure that you're looking stuff that says whey protein isolate. And those are actually pretty naturally lactose and casein free. Those things are removed from it when they do the isolate because they're taking just the isolate part off of it. So one, it's made with concentrate, very hard to digest. Two, it's got soybean, which is not great because usually those have lots of high glyphosate levels in it. So Roundup, not very good for your digestion, linked to a lot of possible heart or health issues. Artificial flavors, those are derived from petroleum, also linked to a lot of health issues. Sucralose, it is a fake sugar. It's what Splenda is made out of. It can be very inflammatory on the system. And carrageenan, which is actually made out of an algae, which I just found out about. I did not know that, so now I know. But it's also linked to inflammation and digestion issues. So I would stay away from drinks that have that stuff in it. The Prime Protein, the Equipped, which is the one that I like, it is literally just a beef isolate. So it doesn't have any whey in it at all. So there's no dairy in it whatsoever. And it has vanilla or chocolate and it has stevia. And that's it. Stevia is a natural sweetener made from the stevia plant. It is safe for most people. Some people actually do have issues with stevia or monk fruit because they're plant derivatives. So if you think that it's upsetting your stomach, that's probably what it is. It's not the actual protein powder. So, yes, I would stay away from the protein powders that have anything like that. And then you can just put it in whatever milk that you pick. So you could pick an organic milk, one that is pasture raised, and you're going to get a lot more nutrients from it. It's going to be easier on your digestive system, and it's not just full of the chemicals and stuff that these other plant or regular proteins are made out of. So these proteins, the concentrate, and especially the plant proteins, they're not very bioavailable, which means that your body doesn't really absorb them the way that you would like to, which is why a beef isolate or a whey isolate are much better options for you. All right, so I just want to remind you guys that I really want you to, when I was looking at all these questions that people asked, there was one thing that just came to, two things that came to mind. One, consistency is key. Over duration, over fad diets, consistency is key. If you can consistently eat well, you're going to see results. If you consistently exercise, even if it's short amount of time, you're going to see results. We want to rewrite the narrative. It's not about losing weight. It's about finding a better body composition. And that might mean that the scale doesn't really move. That might mean that you're gaining muscle and losing fat, but the scale goes up a little bit. So that's why we don't always want to look at that scale. That's why doing stuff like body measurements with like a measuring tape or just seeing how your clothes feel is a lot more important. We want to lose fat and not muscle. And most likely, if you're doing a calorie deficit diet, you're losing more muscle than what we want you to do, which is why it's important to exercise and get that good high protein in there. So these were great questions. This was super fun for me. This gives me a lot of ideas on some content that I can talk to you guys about and make sure that you're learning about. So thank you so much for being here. This was super fun for me. I love doing Q&As like this. So if you guys want another one, just let me know. I might do one on Facebook next time so more people can join in and just have some fun with it. But thank you for joining this mom challenge. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and remember, you got this.